We're not going to go over all of the halachot for Chanukah, but there's one particular thing that I saw Rav Gideon ben Moshe actually do a shiur in a Kollel about. It's a 2-minute clip, 3-minute clip, whatever it was, which means that if he's doing this shiur in a Kollel for something that's technically supposed to be pashut, supposed to be very simple, common knowledge, it means that this is a very common mistake that people make. I know that I made this mistake myself for most of my life. Partly because I didn't learn, the other reason because I didn't care enough to learn. And Baruch Hashem, part of TeShuva is to change all of those horrible midot that we have that make excuses for all of the things that we don't feel like doing. So the simple halacha is, when do you light Hanukkah candles? Now most people, they say it's at night, just you light at night. That's partially right. It's partially right, it's not 100% right. What's 100% right? You have to light the candles as soon as the stars are out. Now everyone has, I'm assuming, a smartphone, and you can download this application called CalJ or MyZmanim, and it'll tell you exactly after you put your zip code, CalJ, C-A-L-J, or you go to myzmanim.com, it's the same company I believe, and you put your zip code, and it'll tell you exactly when there is a time called Tzeta Kochavim. When is the time where the stars are out? Because it's not dusk, which is really, we don't know whether it's night or it's still day. If you light your candles there, you may have a serious problem. You may have a serious problem unless your candles continue being lit beyond the Tzeta Kochavim. But either way, it's not. You're not supposed to do it that way. Now, what about if you decide, okay, you know what? I'm busy. I'm gonna have to go to a few parties. I got to do a few things. By the time I get home, I'll do it. At midnight. I got home at midnight. I'll do it. That's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because no one is outside at midnight, and you're supposed to light the candles and put the candles at a place, in a window, where other people, that is, if they were walking outside, they would see your menorah. Now, if you're putting your menorah outside at midnight, unless you're in New York City, no one's going to see your menorah, which means that you have not fulfilled the mitzvah. You've not fulfilled the mitzvah like it's supposed to be. Now, the Chachamim say that you still fulfilled the mitzvah, but it's not the ideal. Now, any time that we have a easy mitzvah that you can do right, we have to do it right. Some mitzvot are very hard to do right, because you have to learn a lot. But there are some mitzvot that are very easy to do right. Very easy to do right. All you got to do is a little bit of effort, and you'll do it right. When we miss out on those easy mitzvot, it's like missing out on a lotto ticket where you already know what the numbers are. Somebody already gave you the numbers. He's like, yeah, I don't really feel like going to the shop to buy the ticket. Oh, okay, so you should just go admit yourself to a mental institution, and instead of the shop to buy a ticket, you have the winning numbers. That's an easy mitzvah. So the easy mitzvah is actually the mitzvah of lighting the candles. You're supposed to light them at Tzeta Kochavim, at the time where the stars are out, which is right after dusk. And again, like I said, today, for example, where I live, it was 5:58, 5:59 in the evening, and you had to light the candles at that time. Yesterday, I think it was like half a minute earlier or something like that. Point is that that's when you're supposed to light it, because if you light the candles too early, it's no good. If you light the candles too late, it's also not so good. Now, what happens if you light the candles by the time you get home from work? It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you want to light the candles? Yes, of course, light the candles. But it's not ideal. Meaning that if you had a choice to light the candles before, but you chose not to because, you know what, I don't feel like doing it. I'll do it later. After I have dinner, after I do this, after I do that. Then you have yourself a serious problem. Now what about once it gets to dusk, once it gets to the time where it's right after mincha, and you're supposed to light the candles, and you want to say, you know what, let me learn a little bit for another, maybe learn for a half hour, and then I'll light. You're not allowed to learn. You're not allowed to learn Torah until you light the candles. What if you're hungry? You're really hungry. You haven't eaten anything all day. You haven't eaten anything all day. You want to have a nice seudah, a hero sandwich, the bigger than your head. You want to have one. Not allowed to eat. Why? Because if you get too focused on something else, including Torah, you may forget to light the candles at an ideal time. So it's very, very important that a person light the candles at the ideal time because it's an easy mitzvah, it's an easy lotto ticket. Like I said, if you just don't get home until 8 o'clock from work, and it's just not possible for you to light it at that time, it's a different story. Still light it. But if you have the ability to light it, if you work out of the house, or you're already home at that time, or something like that, light it as soon as the stars are out, and you don't have to go outside to look for stars, because sometimes it's cloudy. All you got to do is use one of these wonderful applications that Hashem provided us in this generation that tell you exactly when the stars are out. I remember when I was a kid, when to know how Shabbat came out, we didn't have iPhones, smartphones, so how do we know? We went outside. Went outside and looked for stars. Actually, our minhag was 7 stars. Our minhag is 7 stars. The reason why the minhag was 7 stars, even though he's right, he says there's 3 stars, is because we don't know. It's supposed to be 3 middle-sized stars. It's supposed to be 3 middle-sized stars, but we don't know what's a middle-sized star. To us, all the stars almost look the same. So, our minhag was 7 stars. Look for 7 stars. Hopefully within the 7 there's 3 middle-sized stars. But the point is that it's very, very important to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, because sometimes a person thinks that he's doing a mitzvah, he gets to Shamayim and says, oh yeah, you have 3,000 years in Gehinom. What? What are you talking about? I learned Torah my whole life. Yeah, you learned Torah, but you didn't keep 90% of it. So the 10% you have Gan Eden after you finish the 3,000 years. So it's very, very important to get these easy mitzvot right. Because they're easy. Which means the judgment is much more dear. If it's a hard mitzvah, then Hashem obviously knows this is a hard mitzvah. He'll judge you accordingly. But if it's an easy mitzvah and we still slack, then there's something wrong with us. So you got to get the easy mitzvot out. Also, for anyone that's single, you still have to light the candles. If it's a single woman, you still have to light the candles. If you're a guest at somebody else's house, you can rely on them lighting the candle. Different issues. If you have any specific questions about halachot of Chanukah, you can text me, I'll give you the answers. But the point is that I wanted to give you the easy mitzvah, and so at least you could do it right, because I know most of my life, I would light candles somewhere around 9, 10 o'clock at night, because I thought, oh, well, what's the difference? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 5 o'clock, what's the difference? When you don't know what you don't know. So, you have to get this mitzvah right. As far as the candles, most of the stuff is available online, but again, if you're confused or anything else, you could always ask. I'm only a text message away. We are meant to be a light unto the nations, not to follow their misguided practices. Remember, every Jew has to remember that he's a Jew and she's a Jew. We don't celebrate non-Jewish holidays, even if they seem harmless. It's a zilzul, disrespect to the Torah, and could lead to Chilul Hashem, desecration of God's name. Stick to our holy Torah and our own holidays. That's the path of a true Jew.